Hi, I'm Sarah Stanley, and welcome back to our Behold series. So over the last month, we've been talking about relationship. God is a loving Father, and we are His beloved children. And as we live in this perpetual exchange of perfect love that the Father is giving us, we enter into relationship with Him through prayer. We receive all that He is giving us, and we give it back. And as we're living in this relationship, we sometimes hit bumps in this road, and when we do, we experience suffering. And a part of the Christian life is how we respond to that suffering. Are we willing and able to allow the Lord to redeem it, to enter into it with us, or do we reject Him and isolate ourselves and suffer further? Which now leads us to living deeper and further into our true identity, understanding who we are as God's beloved sons and daughters. So over the next month, we'll talk about our truest identity. Our identity as God's beloved sons and daughters has absolutely nothing to do with what we do, what we've done, or what we will do, but it has everything to do with who we are. As we're living as beloved sons and daughters, we often enter into different roles. We are wives and husbands and athletes, we're students, we're bosses, we're neighbors, we're friends. And all of these roles are important, and all of these roles can be used for our sanctification. They can be used for our good. But when we mistake these roles as our primary identity, we're often left unfulfilled. Whenever I place my primary identity, my value, or my worth in my job as a missionary, and I fall short in my job, I often turn inwards and I start to think that I myself am a failure, that I, Sarah, have failed and am a failure, that I'm not worthy of being a missionary, that maybe I start to question even my discernment in this role. Like, should I have become a missionary? I don't think I can because I'm a failure. I start to believe a lie about who I am. And what I've done is I've replaced my truest identity, where I find value and purpose in my life, as a missionary in my job, and not as a beloved daughter of God who always loves me, who always wants the best for me, and who is always willing and ready to forgive me and allow me to start again. A great example of living in our primary identity as sons and daughters is the parable of the prodigal son. The story goes that there is a father who has two sons, and one of the sons goes to his father and asks for his inheritance while his father is still alive. And his father, being a good father, gives him his inheritance. And the son takes it and he goes off, it says, to a far off land, and he squanders it. And then he finds himself with nothing again. He wakes up sleeping with the pigs and eating what the pigs have to eat. And he thinks to himself, surely even the servants at my father's house are treated better and have a better quality of life than what I'm experiencing right now. Maybe my father would take me back, but not as his son, as a servant, because I am not worthy to be his son anymore. What I have done is unforgivable, and I can't even approach that. So he starts to prepare this monologue in his head of what he will say to his father when he returns. In the Gospel of Luke, it says that he gets up and he starts to make his way home to the father. And when he gets back to his father, it says that while he is still a long way off, he comes into view of his father. And when he comes into view of his father takes off running towards him. And he embraces him and he kisses him. And now it's time for the son to say the monologue that he has been preparing. And he says, Father, I have sinned against God and I have sinned against you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. His father, being a good father, is not willing to accept this lie that his son is believing. So the father just kind of disregards, and he turns to his servants and he says, quickly, bring the best robe we have and put a ring on his finger and put sandals on his feet and slaughter the fattened calf, because it is time to celebrate. My son was dead and has come back to life. My son was lost and now is found. My son has come back home. You can always come back home to the Father. He loves you no matter what, always. But you have to come into view of the Father to receive all that He is giving you. So my challenge to you this week is to come into view of the Father. How are you going to do that? Is it going to come to Mass? Are you going to come to reconcile with the Father through confession? Are you going to find a quiet place in your home to just accept the Lord into your life and tell Him how it is, tell Him what's going on and how you need Him? Because you are His beloved son and you are His beloved daughter, and there is nothing you can do to change it, and He just wants to love you. Thank you for tuning in, and continue to come back this week as we dive deeper into how we live as sons and daughters of the Father.